GBC News, the headlines. Number 6 says resilience works may have prevented a Gibraltar-wide power outage today. The GST accuses the government of political opportunism in announcing over 2,000 new affordable homes. Beach Wednesdays, Radio Gibraltar hears from regulars at the GSLA Bathing Pavilion. And we find out what spots around the Rock you think could benefit from restoration. Good evening. The government says this morning's power cut could have been Gibraltar-wide had it not been for recent improvements to strengthen resilience. The power cut affected the North District and was once again caused by a contractor damaging a high-voltage cable. The government told GBC this happened at the site of the Elysium project.
The power cut began at around 8:30 this morning. The government says power was fully restored by just after 10. The areas affected included Laguna Estate and Devil's Tower Road, with traffic lights taken out of operation. Among the places affected was the airport, which operated on generator power. There was no disruption to flights. The government says it was informed by the Electricity Authority that a high-voltage cable was damaged in the Bayside area. Asked by GBC for the name of the contractor, Number 6 said the incident happened at the site of the Elysium project. This is a major mixed-use development from TNG Realty and Rox Living Global, which will consist of 6 buildings on the old Bayside and St Anne's Schools site. The government told GBC the cable damage was on the same ring as the cable responsible for the total outage earlier this year on the 26th of June, although at a different location. It said, critically, the improvements made since June worked. Engine 5 detected the fault immediately, and the strengthened network configuration contained it to a localized area rather than letting it cascade into a full blackout. Without that work, today could well have repeated June's total power loss. Number 6 added, further work continues until the authority is satisfied fault currents are fully managed at every level of the infrastructure. A full update on the work carried out will be provided in September. The government remains committed to a resilient, reliable electricity network for Gibraltar. The government also said the minister with responsibility for the Electricity Authority would meet with the contractor behind today's outage to convey her disappointment. Gemma Arias Vasquez said contractors are given detailed cable maps and on-site instructions. She said she wanted to hear directly from the contractor as to how these works were planned and carried out. The minister cited the powers granted by the Electricity Infrastructure Damage Act to impose financial penalties, saying incidents of this kind have real consequences for families, businesses and essential services.
The GST has accused the government of political opportunism in announcing 2,300 affordable homes on the West Side Reclamation. It says the move is driven by preparations for a new GSLP party leader and a general election. However, the opposition says the government should stop playing with people's expectations, particularly when previous developments such as Bob Belisa Mews and Chatham Views are, in some cases, up to a decade behind schedule. Ros Astengo put it to Damon Bocino that the GSD should surely welcome the news that more affordable homes are going to be built.
And I understand why you would say that, because we ought to be welcoming the fact that the government are now announcing that they're going to be building 2,300 affordable homes. But the reality is that we are receiving this information with just as much skepticism as I am sure the vast majority of those young Gibraltarians who want to purchase their own affordable homes are receiving it. And why do I say that? I say that because back in January 2025, in his New Year's message, the Chief Minister made pretty much the same announcement on behalf of his government, which was that they were going to be reclaiming lands by Westview Park, and that's in excess of 1,000, he said at the time, affordable homes would be built. When I issued my statement at the time, I received it with just as much skepticism as I received the news in respect of, for example, because of our experience precisely because of Bob Belisa Mews and the delays there, 10 years, and Chatham Views, which has also also been the subject of delays. So we are saying, this government cannot be trusted in terms of the promises, and here we are. They have now broken their promise in respect of those initial timelines when they said that keys would be delivered in the early part of 2028.
We know that there are always delays in construction, but what's the alternative? Not to announce any affordable housing at all?
Well, the alternative is to be truthful with the announcements that you make, because there are people out there who are going to be making their life plans on the basis of what a government says. A government's announcements and statements need to be taken seriously, and people will take them on trust. But you breach that trust when you say, as I said before, almost 2 years ago, that you're going to have houses ready in that plot of sea, which will then become land, in the early part of 2028, and you fail to deliver. So the announcements and the promises need to be real. And we, as the GSD, when we're now eyeing up an election in the next potential year and a half, and we want to be Gibraltar's government, our promises and our undertakings will be made seriously, responsibly, and we will deliver on them. I mean, let's be clear, this is nothing other than political and electoral posturing, where they're trying to shore up Gemma Arias Vasquez as the next Chief Minister of Gibraltar, who's making this announcement, and not, let me add, being made by the Minister for Housing, who is the Minister of the Crown, who is responsible for housing. She's been completely ignored and sidelined in favour of somebody who doesn't have responsibility for housing. She's not yet the Chief Minister, and yet she's making these and heading these announcements. So people need to understand that this is nothing other than electoral games by the government.
Mr. Busino, let me just ask you, we are expecting a general election in just over a year's time, or whenever it's called. If the GSD were to get into government, what would you do with this project? Would you continue with it?
Well, I think that's a very good question, and it very much depends on where we are on the project. If, my scepticism and our scepticism and our incredulity as far as the government's promises are concerned are proved to be true, and not a grain of sand is laid in that area, then we will want to look at our own plans in relation to potential reclamation, perhaps in a different area, because we understand that housing is a very pressing social need. And I go beyond it being simply a social need. It is a community need, and it is a need in terms of our identity, when we're going to have a very big competitor on the other side. Now that we have a free-flowing frontier, indeed no frontier fence, there are going to be many young people here in Gibraltar who are going to be considering the possibility of buying in Spain because it's cheaper, and what they get for that buck is going to be better, potentially. So this is an urgent need, not just because it has a social imperative, but also an imperative in terms of our identity as Gibraltarians. And then there are other concerns which have been raised indeed by the GSD at the time of the first announcement, but now also supported by many of the residents in the area who do have concerns about the environment, who do have concerns about the urban massification of the area, who do have concerns because they're asking, where on earth in that plot of land are you going to be fitting in excess of 2,000 units? Those schooling, traffic, all those things need to be considered and need to be taken account of. But you only do that if you have a 5-10 year plan into the future and you do things properly. And absolutely, we would be transparent about these plans and not simply make vacuous and empty announcements and statements.
Well, a public group is also voicing its opposition to the new reclamation project. Peter Thomer appeared on Gibraltar today and said that while nobody was against new affordable homes, there were better alternatives to reclaiming land. Mr. Thomer told Kellyanne Borge that numerous sites around Gibraltar had been used for luxury homes and should have been used to provide affordable housing instead. He also expressed concern over the impact on water quality in the area.
There will be 47,000 square meters of seawater that will be replaced by land. That will be funneling the channels of seawater round that reclamation to this corner here, by Gaza, by where the jetties are for tugs, etc. It doesn't really take a scientist to work out that the flow of water is going to be very significantly reduced. This corner is already recognized as being compromised. The quality of the water around here, including Gaza, is already, I'll say, and be conservative, slightly questionable. What's going to happen when there's less seawater coming through?
Now, we ourselves right now, we're sat on reclaimed land. New flats need to be built somewhere. Some will argue, that there are demands for housing. Now that we found out that around 2,300 affordable homes are planned in that space, does that change the group's views at all?
We are not against housing for the Gibraltarians, for the locals, for the families, the youth, people sharing their homes with their parents and grandparents. That is not our argument. We do know that housing is needed. However, we've also identified that there have been numerous sites that have been used for luxury construction, along Devil's Tower Road, for example. Other areas that we've seen that are empty. One in particular is the Rook, that recently has come out with another luxury development. I mean, Gibraltarians want a house, want a home to live in. They're not interested in having tennis courts, as that development proposed for the old Rook site shows. And this is our objection. Why reclaim from the sea when we've got alternatives?
Well, moving on to other news, the government says delays affecting commercial traffic at the frontier yesterday were not caused by checks on the Gibraltar side. Number 6 says there were no delays of any type on the Gibraltar side whatsoever, and that it understood the delays were being caused by the Policía Nacional. Speaking to Diario Aria, the government also cited repeated statements by the Policía Nacional's union opposing the treaty. We're watching GBC News. Still to come, it's Beach Wednesday. We hear from regulars at the GSLA Bathing Pavilion. And what spots around the Rock do you think are in need of a little TLC? We'll be back in a few minutes. Welcome back. It's Beach Wednesday when Radio Gibraltar visits the Rock's favourite swimming spots, and this week Gibraltar Today was live from the GSLA Bathing Pavilion. Kellyanne Borge spoke to some of the regulars as well as the Sports Development Unit and a Stay and Play leader about this year's summer sports programme as well.
Just seeing how the children have progressed throughout the summer, they've gained so much confidence. Like, I had a child that was kind of scared of the water, and now he's in it all the time here. And just the bonds that we have built with them and how much they've learned throughout the summer. We've got feedback from the parents saying how much their children have progressed by being here in Stay and Play. So it's a really nice feeling to know that we are making a difference to them in their summer.
And it's not over just yet.
No.
You still have all next week to tell us about the final Friday.
So on both the Sports Trainer Stay and Play program, we have one massive water day. On the Stay and Play end, we're still tweaking the final plans, but it's the day that we bring all children together, because we have 5 different venues, so we break the children up into these 5 different groups, so we to keep the numbers low so we don't overstimulate the children. So there's a lot of planning that goes into the last day, because we have 52 children signed up with us this year, so having 52 children in one venue is not the easiest of logistics. So we use the hockey training pitch, we use the ball, we use the boathouse, and we have different stations where the children can rotate. And then for the last hour, 45 minutes of the day, we have a massive giant slip and slide where we can let all the children and leaders have fun. So it's all about having fun, and for the leaders to actually reflect on the good work that they've done, and for the parents as well to actually see their children, enjoying their time on Stay and Play.
Do you like playing with your friends, with your family? Who else comes here?
My friends and my mom, my granny comes, and everyone else, and also my mom's friend. That's also my friend that bakes me a lot of cakes and
Oh wow!
cheesecakes.
No wonder you like coming here. Swimming, fish, and cakes.
I like coming here with my family, you know, because you can have a nice dip, and just have a nice time, run around.
Yeah. And have you always come here, or have you gone to different beaches? Yeah?
We normally, me and my little sister and my cousin, we normally go to Sandy Bay or Eastern Beach, but other than that, we come
So you
here.
change, no? You move around. That's nice. So what would you say is your favourite place to swim?
Caleta.
So Charlie likes Caleta. Yeah.
Gabby?
I like Caleta too.
Well, Nafi.
Yeah.
Nappy as well? Oh, another good choice.
Bueno, yo por mi comodidad, yo mi recuperación de un accidente que tuve, me la he hecho yo aquí solita.
Vale.
Gracias a esto. Entonces yo vengo en invierno, a escondida, porque no hay nadie que no me dejan bañarme, me baño. Dice el médico que es muy bueno para mí, el problema mío. Y durante el invierno, que tenemos agua aeróbic,
aquarobic,
sí, yo vengo siempre, porque tengo problemas, me partí los pies, me partí 4 vértebras. Bueno, esto no viene al caso que lo cuente, pero vamos, es mi problema y el cariño que le tengo yo a esto y a todas las que nos sentamos juntas, son muchos años que llevamos aquí charlando y esto y lo otro. Y
¿Con familia, amigas? ¿Qué?
Sí, ahí hay 2 o 3 de las que yo me siento.
This week, the government invited views on which aspects of the rock's natural environment would benefit from restoration to help it develop a national natural restoration plan. Christine Vasquez went down to Main Street to ask people what their priorities on this would be and also what areas in Gibraltar could do with some TLC.
I think realistically we've got as many parks as we can hope for, but if there is any new buildings or reclamation, that needs to be part of the plan. But in general, I don't think we have a lot of scope to increase or improve, unless obviously the Upper Rock, the nature reserve, is an area which may want to be enhanced and improved and encourage more people to go up there. But again, on the other side of the argument is, well, we need to get people out of their cars, walking more, less traffic on our roads. And now with the new situation with the border gone, the influx of traffic has just become incredible. Yeah.
The nature, upper rock nature areas that one sees on the adverts on GBC, etc., are the paths. So I presume, I don't know a great deal of detail yet, but I presume it's about the paths in the Upper Rock for tourists to visit, and I think that's very commendable. However, I think there's also a question of priorities, because there are lots of other areas much closer to home in the town area which are there for tourists to see, which need a lot of attention. So I think, is this something that we should be considering? Not only the quality of the paths in the Upper Rock, which is obviously very important, but attention to other details.
What other areas do you think?
Well, today, for example, I've been to 2. One of them was at the Hardings Battery. And at Hardings Battery, I went to see the underground area. Lovely photographic images, highlighted. But, for example, the interpretation boxes, out of the 3 of them, 1 of them didn't work. The other one had such a low volume and crackle that you couldn't understand it. And the 3rd one was the same. So obviously, that doesn't get inspected or managed. So I think that's just one silly example. Well, not so silly. The other one was the little man by South Barracks, by Southport Gate, the little chap in the cubbyhole. It's got a lovely QR code there, but you try and interpret that QR code, because it's a transparent glass, you cannot interpret it. So therefore what I'm saying is that there are other elements to the tourist experience who's interested in history which get missed. Yet we're going on to another element which in itself has every right to be considered, but we need to consider all the other elements.
I think priority should be all over Gibraltar. Gibraltar's not a very big place. We should prioritize in green areas, natural green areas. It's proven around the world that the CO2 emissions are reduced immensely. So I think, the greenery and trees and all that is sort of essential in Gibraltar. It's very small and it should be done.
In the cemetery. because the parking is okay and everything is very beautiful outside, but inside, no. I'm sorry to tell you that, no, of all things in Gibraltar, but the cemetery is awful.
Greenery around Gibraltar, you know, I think it's lacking a bit of greenery, especially trees. I think it has a very cooling effect on the city itself. I think sometimes Gibraltar is becoming a bit of a concrete jungle, and I think more greenery will definitely enhance Gibraltar for locals and also for tourists coming into Gibraltar.
First of all, I'm not very happy at Gibraltar going. It's too many buildings, too tall buildings, and I think we haven't got enough air to breathe. The priority, I think we should have more parks for the kids, more things for the kids. We are not getting so many things for the kids. There's no, like, what do you call it, the park, Westview Park, that they're going to remove it now. Well, they're going to do it back again, but we're going to be for 5 years without a park. We only got there the only thing that we've got here is a park for the children down there, but I think there should be more things for the young people.
If I had to add one thing, maybe like another park, I guess, because there's only like one park I know of, but that's really it. I love Gibraltar. I think it's great, yeah. Yeah, probably the same thing, to be honest. The beaches are really nice here, so I like the beaches here. And then, park, yeah, another park, for sure. But I do like Gibraltar. It's really nice, yeah.
Gibraltar's second green bus stop has been unveiled at Campion Park. The project forms part of a wider programme that will see other green bus stop roofs installed across the rock, with the first one installed in June at Fish Market Steps. It was inaugurated by the Minister for the Environment, John Cortes, and its sponsors, Midtown Management CEO of the Horticultural Society, Annabel Morcodali. Explained some of the benefits of having the green roofs.
Green roofs bring a lot of benefits, and one of them is because of the heat. It will actually make the bus stop cooler, and in winter it will keep the heat in, because this is what plants bring about in a natural world, and this is what we're trying to replicate by greening the green bus stops. All the bus stops are sponsored by corporates. They have the name on the bus stop structure saying it's been sponsored, and also they are maintained by the companies who have sponsored them. Over the next year, after summer, you will be seeing others popping up everywhere. And next year, we have another set of ones going up in different places in Gibraltar.
Well, this year's National Day will culminate in a firework and drone display. The grand finale will begin at 10 p.m. from the detached mole, with 500 synchronized drones from Flock Drone Art lighting up the sky. The government says this year's display will be bigger than last year's. The Peter Isola Promenade will be pedestrian only from 8 p.m. until midnight, with no parking from 6 p.m. onwards. Those who prefer to stay indoors can watch the display on GBC. And that's all from the GBC News team for now. Don't forget, you can always catch up on our website. Have a good evening.